don't know about you ladies, but I get such an energy surge when I'm in a room full of smart ladies, and it's fantastic that we are all here to learn from each other. So don't think that just because I'm up here that I'm some sort of a guru. I don't even like that term. There's a lot of innate knowledge that we all have, a lot of common sense that we all have, and so we're here to learn all from each other. So welcome and thank you, and yay, thank you for getting that back up. All right, so let's dive right in. I'm Omi. I am the co-founder and CEO of Diaz-Cooper Advertising. We are a digital marketing agency, and we've been around 19 years now. Woohoo! I know that because my company is the same age. Well, my company's just a little older than my daughter, than my oldest daughter. I founded my company when I was 8 months pregnant. Not the best time to start a new company, but hey, I took the lead, never looked back, and I think that a lot of us, whether we are owners of our own companies, or whether we are high-level employees, or whether we are volunteers, or whether we head up a nonprofit, there's a fire that all of us have inside of us that really fuels what we do on a daily basis. And I think that's part of the energy that I feel when I'm in a room full of women like you. It's that fire that we all have to make whatever organization we're a part of better, and to serve our customers and our clients better. And at the end of the day, we all just want to be a little bit happier, right? At the end of the day, we want what we do to have meaning. We want what we do to be heard, and we want it to help us be happier and help our constituents, our clients be happier as well. So thank you for joining me. So let's get started. All right. What's digital marketing? Tell me what you guys think digital marketing is. Just shout out some stuff.
Social media.
Social media.
E-newsletters.
SEO,
SEM.
SEO, SEM.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, so you're saying a lot of these things, right? Digital marketing is maybe Google AdWords, maybe search engine optimization, having a good website, right? I want you guys to take the word digital out of your minds and just think about marketing. Because whether it's digital, or whether it's a billboard, or whether it's a magazine, or whether it's you being in a room networking, you know this because you're in image and branding, it's all part of getting more customers, right? We can all agree that the main function of marketing is to get more customers, right? So we do a lot of things. We create a lot of systems to do that, right? I'm sure how many of you have seen the sales funnel before? Literally, if you Google sales funnel, there's probably 1,700 different little drawings like this of some sort of a funnel, right? And the idea is that if you want to get more customers, you have to generate awareness, you have to give them some reason to consider you, and then you have to get them to make the decision to buy or donate or whatever the case might be, right? Because marketing is relevant not just for people selling something, but also for people who need help, who need volunteers, who need donations, et cetera, et cetera. So I really think that for us, really good marketing is a predictable and measurable system for turning strangers into fans. And I'm going to explain what that means in a little while. But if you want to do that, you want to make sure that your website, and this is where kind of the digital part comes in, right? You want to make sure that your website is at the center of everything that you do, and that you have all of these different tactics in place, right? Whether it's social, whether it's email marketing, whether it's whatever it is, right? And that's all pointing people to that website so that they can take some action that allows you to convert them into a customer, right? So that's all well and good. But I think marketing is much more than that. I think marketing is much more than just that sales funnel and that predictable system. I think marketing is about building relationships. LinkedIn, their slogan, relationships matter, when a few years ago our slogan was only what matters matters. And I really think that we need to think about marketing in a different way. I really think that we need to think about marketing beyond the Google AdWords and beyond the email marketing and beyond the social media. And we really need to think about how we're touching our customers and how we are engaging with them to, again, create a better relationship with them, to fuel our own businesses, and also to make them happier, because happy customers stick around, right? So if we think about it, marketing is a little bit like dating. And if that's the case, if marketing is like dating, and if marketing is here to build relationships, then this funnel crap, it's a little bit like a bad relationship. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. At the top of the funnel, we have awareness, right? Awareness is when we're trying to attract people to us. We're like we're like that single girl in the bar looking around for the right match, right? And we're just throwing things out there to see what sticks, right? A lot of us are spending money on Google AdWords and spending money on maybe this, oh my gosh, maybe this video will go viral, and right? But we don't really know who we're targeting sometimes. They don't know us from anything, right? So we're basically just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing which strand sticks, right? So then we get to the middle of the funnel. Now we're supposed to be a little bit more like, okay, they've heard about us, they know who we are at least, right? So this is the time when one of two things can happen. We can either get desperate, we want them to commit, right? We want them to sign up with us, we want them, we want their business. So we might get desperate, we might get spammy, we might send them way too many ads, we might hit them with offers that they may not be interested in, or worse, we might ask them to marry us too soon. Can you imagine going on a date, right? You were the girl in the bar, now you found some guy, he looks kind of attractive, he seems nice, you want to see what happens, so you go out on a coffee date, you're having your coffee, and in the middle of having coffee, he gets down on one knee and pops out a ring and says, will you marry me? You're gonna think he's a creep, right? I mean, how many of you would marry that guy? Okay, so that's what a lot of us do with our marketing. We want that sale. We want that ask right away before they've had a chance to get to know us. How many of you sell something online? How many of you have an e-commerce business? Okay. The rest of us are probably in some sort of business or organization where it's a longer-term decision-making process, right? People are looking around, identifying what problem they have, trying to see what solution might be best, comparing you to the girl next to you in the bar to see which one might be the better fit, right? And so that period, that consideration period, that's when you need to let them know who you are. It's that dating period, and we need to make sure that we have something in place for that. And then the bottom of the funnel, this is my worst one. I hate the bottom of the funnel. Most people love it. I got a sale, yay, right? Most people, or a lot of people, when they make that sale, they go dark. The customer signs up, the customer buys something, or they give a donation, or whatever the case might be, and then many times we no longer communicate with them anymore, right? Okay, marketing did its job, we're done, we got the customer. I don't believe that. I believe that, again, if you're building a relationship, right, after you get married, you still want to go out on a date, right? You still want to get taken out, you still want to have fun, you still want a little romance, some flowers once in a while, whatever floats your boat, you want more of that. Your customers need and want more of the same. They need to hear from you, they need to understand why it's valuable to continue working with you, they need to understand why it might be smart to refer you to somebody else. So, again, the bottom of the funnel, very important not to stop that marketing. So, whoops, going the wrong way. So, again, we've seen that the customer experience is really so much more than just the funnel. So what's it about? What's the customer experience really about? It's really more like a journey. I'm a big travel buff, so you're going to see some travel imagery here. So that journey really starts with your persona. So we're, again, going back to the dating analogy, you probably have some criteria for the type of client that you want to attract. How many of you have ever heard someone when they say, who's your customer, and the person says, everybody, I want everybody? Okay, that is the absolute worst, okay? You cannot be right for everybody, just like you can't date every single man and be the right wife for him, right? Your business is not right for everybody. The most important thing you can do in your marketing is identify your core buyer, your persona. Your core buyer is going to be that person or that entity, because sometimes it's business to business, right? But there's always a human being that makes a decision at the end. So you have to always identify who within the entity you're trying to go after. So your core buyer is that person that is going to love what you do. They're going to love, Janet was telling me earlier about the culture here at Kaufman & Rawson, okay? The culture is about having work and being good at your work, but also having a life. That may not work for everybody. There's some die-hard workaholics out there that go life balance, bah, I don't want that, right? So they may not want that, right? They may not want that client. They might be able to capably serve them, but that's not going to be the customer that's going to love them, that's going to think that everything they do is great, that's going to go out there and say, I love Kaufman & Rawson so much that I want everybody, all my friends to use them, and I'm going to refer them to everybody. So think about it. It's usually the person that buys from you freely, that you don't have to haggle with, that you don't have to constantly validate your worth, okay? Do you see the analogies there with dating as well, right? It's going to be that person that's going to see you as an expert in your field, okay? And that's going to absorb what you have to give in such a way that they're going to really benefit from it as well. Because the other part of the coin is you have to be right for them. You have to have the skills and the information, the ability to serve their needs well, because it's a mutual thing, right? So anytime that you are thinking about doing any kind of advertising, I want you to put yourselves in the shoes of your persona. I want you to think about them as a real human being. Personalize it, right? Is it CEO Charlie, right? Is it marketing Martha? Whoever that persona is, put yourselves in their shoes and think about their goals. Not just your goals, but their goals, right? What are their pain points? What are they looking for? What do they need? How do you solve their problems? Because at the end of the day, I hate to say this, ladies, but nobody gives a crap about you or your business. They only give a crap about what you can do for them. So you have to always put yourself in their shoes and answer those questions. What are their pain points? How do you solve their needs? You know, don't just give them a list of benefits, but really kind of get in their heads, right? So massage, right? So I heard you say that it's something about leading a better, more fulfilling life. What was your? It was good. Tell me what you.
Yeah. Well, people who are stressed are going to be less productive. They're going to call out sick more. You're going to have higher employee turnover. So by starting a wellness program, you're proactively solving that, and ultimately productivity is going to increase.
That's a great pitch, right? What sounds better? You know, we give deep tissue Swedish massages, or we help you lead a less stressful and more productive life, right? So when you really get to know your person, your persona, that's when you can craft messages that are going to resonate and be meaningful for them. Anybody else have a good slogan or kind of saying that they like, that they want to share? It could be your own, it could be somebody else's.
Well, since I work with women 50 plus, I always say, women are like fine wine, they get better with age.
Love it. Love it. Anybody else? What's your favorite brand? Anybody? Like a commercial brand that we might know?
West Elm.
Okay. Why do you like them?
I think that their design is modern and approachable and beautiful, simple. I think their brand identity leaves room for that product to pop off of it. And I think that the way that they market, at least via email and things like that, seems to be not obtrusive, but meets my needs anyways, customer.
Cool. So see, some of the words she initially used were values that she had. You know, clean design, modern, et cetera, et cetera. So how do your values as a company align with your personas? Always think about that. All right. So then, once we have our persona outlined, we are ready to follow them on that path that they take from when they first hear about you to hopefully when they become a raving fan of your company. So that path is called the customer value journey. And it looks like this. And I have a handout because we're going to be very interactive here. Thank you. And you can scribble all over it. And if you want, a clean or a PDF version of it, I'll have my email at the end. I'll be happy to email it to you. But this will kind of help us get into the groove.
Get into the groove.
Yes. So what we've done here is we've taken that funnel, right? Remember our trusty old crappy funnel? And we've turned it really into a journey. And this bottom section of the map is really that top of the funnel. So this bottom section are the things that you do to get them to be aware of you and get them to become a lead. Then this middle section here is the middle of the funnel. The middle's always the middle, no matter which way you put it, right? This middle section is that consideration and buying stage. And then this is at the top because this is the most important part. This is the part where we are nurturing them after they become a customer, where we are remarketing to them in some way that's meaningful, and they are becoming first advocates. So an advocate is someone that gives you a good review, or gives you 5 stars on Facebook, or whatever the case might be. And then we really want to turn them into promoters. We want to create our own brand ambassadors. A promoter is someone who loves your brand so much. Again, that's your core customer, right? They love you and your company so much that they're out there actively promoting you, actively referring you, actively telling people about you. And we're going to see why that's important in a minute. So, whoopsie, I keep doing that. What's your journey look like? Let's go through it. So, at the aware stage, again, this is the very first part of the funnel. This is where people are just starting to hear about you. This is when people, we call them strangers because they've never heard of your brand or your name, your business name, when they become aware of who you are. Tell me some things that you're either doing currently or you think you might want to do in the aware stage to make people aware of who you are. Throw some things out.
A blog.
A blog, that's a good one.
Attending events.
Attending events, yeah. A lot of people forget that, right? A lot of people forget that actually your physical presence at networkers is part of aware, and you better do it. You better put it down if you do that regularly. That's an important part of marketing.
I do a newsletter every week.
A newsletter, is that sent out by email?
Yes.
Okay, that's gonna go in a different bucket. So this is, they haven't heard about you, they don't even know who you are yet. What are you doing so that they know who Gail is and what she does?
Speaker.
I was gonna say
Speaker,
speaking.
yeah, very good.
WLRN sponsorship?
Yes, I hear you guys all the time. You're always in competition with, yeah, it does, especially for those that
Yeah, participating in community events.
events,
For
yes.
recruit-
Community events, trade shows also is another good one.
Put some videos out as a pre-roll on YouTube.
Yep, putting videos out on social media or your
Getting awards.
getting awards, because yeah, the awards do promotional. PR, any PR people? PR is awareness driven, okay? Anybody?
Yeah, in our case, concerts, we offer free concerts,
Free
at the Arts
concerts.
Center or Newer Symphony that the whole family can go.
Great.
Coordinating with news channels to provide content.
Yep. Content on news channels, that's another good one. And a lot of your traditional advertising, it falls in this bucket. So, billboards, radio spots, TV spots, although those can be targeted, some of those can be targeted by audience. In general, those are what we call mass awareness. That's when you're shooting the spaghetti out, right? Okay, but in some cases you need to. So for example, we represent an airline, and every time they have a new route, they do billboards near the airport because people are driving past the billboard to the airport. And in their case, they have, pockets that allow for the occasional billboard to announce a new route. Anything else? Google AdWords is another one.
Could you be a good employer? So
Getting your employees to talk about you, yes, and we can do that through social media as well.
Posting, I repost jobs once they're completed, beautiful shade canopies and social media.
Social media, posting your work on social media.
Would you put SEO here?
Absolutely. SEO goes strongly in awareness because the function of SEO is to attract more visitors to your website. So you attract them by having the right content that, they may have not heard of, again, to use Kaufman-Rawson, they may not have heard the name Kaufman-Rawson, but they might be looking for risk, corporate risk management, accounting services, or, something like that, and you want to pop up when people are searching for your, what are some words, I'm gonna go through the room and give me one word that somebody might search by to find your business. So I'm gonna start with you. Cybersecurity.
Ageism. Assisted living.
Assisted living.
Wardrobe consulting.
Wardrobe consulting.
Risk management.
Risk management.
Leadership.
Leadership. Your new business.
Oh, my new business. Oh, geez. Now you threw me for a loop because I was thinking TCI. Well, so I'm just gonna say women in leadership for TCI.
Okay.
3 words. And
That's good.
for my new business, holistic health.
Holistic health, okay.
Bookkeeping,
Bookkeeping,
corporate wellness.
corporate wellness,
Music instruction,
okay.
leadership development.
Leadership. Hey, how are you? All right. Lisa,
Men's suits.
men's suits, okay.
Youth development.
Okay.
Mergers and acquisitions.
All right. Write your words down, ladies, and awareness. Write your words down because I'm gonna give you a little tip later.
Well, we're kind of together, but I was thinking assisted living in community.
In community, okay. Do you have a little different bend on that one?
Well, the price, moderate price.
Okay, perfect.
Real-time accounting.
Real-time accounting,
Office renovations.
okay.
Trusted advisor.
Okay, Maureen,
I'm gonna say volunteer engagement.
okay.
I'm sorry, I just saw the awareness.
One word that would describe your business that people might search on Google to find you.
Advocacy.
Advocacy, okay. It can be a short phrase, it doesn't have to, don't let that scare you.
Commercial transportation.
Okay,
Outdoor living.
outdoor living,
After school program.
after school program,
Project management.
project management, hi.
Digital trading desk.
Okay, perfect. And I'm sorry, your name?
Angela.
Angela. One word that might.
Cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. Perfect, perfect. So you want to make sure, this is going to sound really duh, but you want to make sure that that word is somewhere on your website. You'd be surprised how many people use really fluffy terms for what they do. And sometimes you go to these home pages and you look around and you say, well, that sounds really good. You know, I can't tell you how many innovative solutions for the 21st century I've seen. Right? And you just don't know what the heck they do. So my point there is, particularly in the awareness stage, you need to be very clear and succinct. You need to almost have that badge of eligible single lady that likes to go fishing, right? So that the guy knows what it is that you do, right?
Fishing being the keyword.
Fishing being their keyword, right? Because that keyword is not yours.
Right.
You don't own that keyword. That keyword, you heard a couple of the same keywords. Many companies own that. You want to make sure that that keyword is meaningful to them, to your persona. All right, who's ready to move on to the next stage?
Me.
All right, yay. All right, now that you know who your persona is, you have to understand that they come in 2 flavors. Every persona comes in 2 flavors, and they are when they're coming to your website. So now they've heard of you, and they may visit your website or visit your Facebook page or whatever the case may be. They'll visit something online that has your name on it, and you know that. How many of you have ever bought something the first time they've ever visited a website, like off the bat, the first time that you visited? Okay, that's very, very rare. It's usually something that you really, really need that's utilitarian, that you don't have to like agonize over the decision, right? So it could be, right, it could be like a lipstick toilet paper, or, you know, something, okay. But almost nobody does that, right? Almost nobody is ready to buy. Those people that are ready to buy are called transactional visitors. So your persona could be in the transactional phase, meaning they're ready to buy right now, but a lot of the time, I would argue most of the time, they're in the informational stage. That's when they want answers. That's when they're looking around, they're researching. They know what their problem is, they know what their pain point is, but they're not sure who can solve it best. They're not sure if your company's the right fit, right? So they're doing some online research. They're gonna go on your website, they're gonna go on somebody else's website, they're gonna maybe go on some blogs or listen to their friends, right? Hey, who do you use for blah, 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 right? So you wanna make sure that you have transactional things on the website for people to convert, but you also wanna make sure that you have a lot of informational. So let's dive into that one. That's when you are trying to engage them, right? This is when you're giving them the content they're looking for. This is when you're giving them tax preparation tips for 2019. This is when you're giving them how to find the color that works best with your skin tone. This is when you're giving them, 5 simple office stretches you can do to, relax you. This is when you're giving them not just good tips and not just information about your company, but just a flavor of your personality. You want your personality, especially if you're in a business where it has a very strong culture, you want that culture or that personality of the founder to shine through so that they start getting a sense of who you are. So you also want to make it easy for them to compare you to the alternatives, right? Sometimes people shy away from that. I don't want to even mention my competitors. And I'm not saying you need to have those comparison charts that you see, but if you're software, you better have a comparison chart. Because people want to know quick and easy what are your features against, you know, somebody else's, right? But you do want to make it easy to either make yourself so out of the competitive field that you're being an orange in a cart of apples, right? Or you're just making it easy for them to see what makes you unique, what makes you different. Why can you solve their problem better? And that's why understanding your persona is so important, because you want to speak directly to them. So for us, I'm going to give you an example from my company. We specialize in travel, tourism, and transportation, 3 T's, right? And so my website is full of travel images and planes and cruise ships and hotel ships and people on vacation. And we talk about that all the time. It's not to say that if some big company that's outside of that comes to us and has a need that we can fulfill, that we're not going to kick them out the door, but that's not who we're actively looking for. That's not who, we want to be in that niche. Because when somebody comes to me and says, oh, I want to improve my ADR, how many people know what that is?
Advertising something revenue?
Average daily revenue,
Okay, something.
right? RevPAR, right?
Revenue.
Right. You must be or have been in hospitality at some point. But if you, let's say you were a marketing director of a hotel and you were in a meeting with an advertising agency and 2 of them, their eyes glazed over when you use those terms, and somebody else comes in and says, oh yeah, of course keeping your room rates high is important. We can do this and this and this to achieve that. Aren't you going to have more trust in me or in the person that knows your lingo? That's why it's important. I know you've probably heard this before, and I just heard it the other day, and I don't know who to attribute it to, but there are riches in the niches. I'm sure you've heard that before. If you niche and you become good in a particular, and it doesn't have to be a tiny niche. It could be an audience. Maybe you specialize like you in women over 50. That's an audience niche. You don't care if they're black, white, Chinese, whatever, right? You just want women over 50, right? So if you can also niche in an industry. Well, we only serve, the elderly, or we only serve, people who have a specific need, right? So think about that. Think about how you can niche. And I know you serve a bunch of brands, but each one of them has a personality, and each one of them goes after a specific type of man. So that's really important. So let's talk about some of the things we can do to engage people. So remember, now they know who you are, and they've come either to your website or your Facebook or your social media. What are some of the things that you could be doing? And there's some hints here. You can just shout out the words that are already there. What are some of you already doing or think you could be doing?
Well, with our blog, we try not to be like salesy. We try to be informational. Like here's something that could benefit you, and then if they like it, maybe they want to learn more. But nobody likes to be sold to.
Everybody give her a hurrah! Hurrah! That is exactly right. For every, this is true for emails especially. For every salesy type message that you've put out, you need at least 4 non-salesy. 4 to 1. 4 to 1. Yeah, that's like a minimum ratio. Obviously, some industries are a little different than others, but that's a general good ratio. Okay, so blogging is one way to do it. What's another way that people can engage? That's when your news. Well,
it's very informational. It's not salesy at all.
That's good. But I'm gonna hold it for another spot, because you may not have their email yet. Right now, they've only heard of you, and they've only come.
That's the only way they get my newsletter.
Right. So that's why it's in a different spot. Okay. So in this engage, they've heard of you, and they're coming to your website or your Facebook page or something, but you may not have their email yet. Okay, so think of some things that are non-email that you could do to engage. So videos are really popular. Somebody else said videos. That's a very good engage stage. You're dying to say something back there. Go ahead.
I would say in general, we create content that shows what we're doing as a nonprofit, like the programs that the children are going to. They're flying out to festivals and different concerts. So where your dollars are going to,
right?
And not asking for money, showing what we're doing.
Showing what you're putting that out on your website and social media.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
For us, we'll list our properties. So if they want to go look at a property,
A listing is
go visit them.
Yeah. Okay, and actual visits, okay, go ahead.
Client testimonials?
Yes,
Definitely.
that's good. I'm gonna put that in another bucket in a second, but that's very good content, and it does fall in this one as well.
I just demonstrate the kinds of ways we engage with our customer to help them solve their problems, whether it's workshops, whether it's one-on-ones, whether it's speaking engagement,
So kind of content around how you serve,
how I serve them. yeah.
okay?
Interactive tools, calculators, so if you interacted with someone
Fantastic.
about a particular problem, how do I fit into that problem? What are my
Fantastic.
numbers, and maybe then you get to a
Yep, yep. We are actually quizzes. That's,
Good idea.
by the way, quizzes are great attention grabbers. They work for both Aware and Engage. And they help to subscribe people because 9 times out of 10 you have to put in your email to get your results, right? Even if you do get them, they say, oh, we'll send you your results if you email us.
Would the radio shows go in here?
The radio shows, yes, absolutely the radio shows. So
Webinar.
content, webinar, yeah. Well, I'm gonna put webinars in a minute. Polls,
A lot of
yeah,
it, yeah,
yes,
kinda like
especially on
quizzes, polls.
social media. Yeah, great, you guys have some great ideas. Did you write some down that you heard from someone else? That's why we're here. All right, so then subscribe. For many, this is the holy grail. Many people live and die by their email lists, and it's really important that your folks subscribe to your email. For the love of all that is holy, please do not ever buy an email list and send out unsolicited emails to a purchase list. This is a no-no with every major, MailChimp, Constant Contact, HubSpot, all of those guys will tell you do not do that, okay? You can partner with a publication or a well-known entity that is aligned with you and promote yourself through their email list. Sometimes people you can pay, for example, I can pay the Miami Herald to put one of my clients in their things to do this summer email list. That's okay, that can work, but please do not ever waste your money on email. First of all, you usually get less, not even the standard 2% open rate on those. Delete, worse than delete, spam-o. If you're sending those out through your servers, if you don't use a system like MailChimp, or how many of you use Constant Contact or MailChimp or HubSpot or something like that? Good. Yeah. You want to be using that, even if you only have 300-400 people in your list, because you don't want to use your personal servers, because if you get spammed, then your own emails will get blocked from any of those servers. If enough people spam you from a particular server, you can get blacklisted by like Yahoo or Gmail, and then your emails will not go into any Yahoo or Gmail inboxes. So that is my big warning about email lists. You want to make sure they opt in.
Quick question about that, you go to a conference and you're a sponsor and you get the list, you can't do that?
That's a gray area, both from the law and from a best practices perspective. If they've had contact with you and they either gave you their card or filled out a form, then you are fine with sending them something that is relevant to that event, so that they remember where they saw you. It was great to meet you at the blah 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 trade show. Here's my whatever you want to give them. How many people think that the purpose of an email is to get them to email you back? Thank goodness. I can't tell you how many click. The purpose of an email is to get a click. You want them to click on something in that email that takes them back to your website to then do something. So keep that in mind. So if you've met them at a trade show.
No, you haven't met them, there's thousands of people.
Oh, you're just
And
getting
you
the
met
list.
20.
And you're just getting the list for
Got
the trade show.
The other 800
Yeah,
that were
then
there.
you need to be really careful. Thank you for being an attendee to the blah blah blah
But that's
trade
part of
show.
like one of the things that they sell you as part of the
It
sponsorship.
is, and absolutely. Technically, legally, they've opted into that show's list, and they've technically agreed to be marketed to, but you better have an unsubscribe button pretty prominent.
And
Yeah.
even if it's not against the law, it's a waste of your energy unless you are sending them something that is relevant to them, that's relevant to the conference that they might have met you at.
Spoken like a
Because
true marketing
otherwise it's a
professional.
complete waste of your time.
Yeah, again, it goes back to the persona. Is that person really your persona or not? If your persona is lawyers, and you send them unless that was just a lawyer's trade show, and everybody on the list is a lawyer, right? You don't know if that's your persona. So you have to send them some generic vanilla thing, right? And that's probably a waste of, look, it's not, when you're a young business, when you're a startup, you know, you're trying to find any way to get more customers, and you do some of these great things. I'm just saying, be careful with them and don't set yourself up for bad habits. You know, because you don't want to always be putting effort into emailing things that's not going to be relevant to the list, that are either going to delete it or mark you as spam. And it's like you said, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of your effort, and then you go thinking, oh, this email stuff doesn't work, right? It's not that the email doesn't work, it's the way you're doing the email is not working.
Or those people who were on that list who you sent the irrelevant thing are never gonna read anything else you sent them, and they might be valuable people.
Right. Later on, they might have a need for something that, yeah, exactly, and you don't want to start the relationship on the wrong foot.
So if you have a big email list and you have people that consistently click, should you be looking to scrub your list and just keep those people that are constantly looking, or not?
Yes, so the trick there is, and I'm glad you said that because some of you do have larger lists, particularly probably some of the nonprofits. The trick there is, if they haven't engaged with anything in 6 months, if they haven't even opened any of your emails in 6 months, you want to send them, some of you may have received the breakup emails. The, hey, it looks like you haven't opened one of your emails in a while. Do you still want to stay on our list, yes or no? If they do not open that, you can scrub them. If they open it, then great, then you've re-engaged them, or they might just go ahead and click the unsubscribe button. Yeah, in any of those cases, that's fine. The reason why that's fine is because you want to make sure that the people in your email list are actually engaged. They're actually clicking on something. Because if they're not, then your quality score starts to go down and you don't get delivered to as many inboxes as you used to.
I was going to ask you about the opening rate.
Yes.
What would you say it's a good open rate?
So that is an it depends question. Don't you love it depends answers? Okay, most of the time around 5 to 15% for people that you engage with on a regular basis is okay. 5 is great for cold emails. So 2 to 5% for cold emails is like from standard to like pretty good. Mm-hmm. People that you know, you wanna go above that 15% mark. So I have some customers that their email list, their open rates are in the 40s, 50s. Wow. I have some that are a little bit higher. There's never anyone, don't take it personal, nobody reaches 100%. Right, Lisa? Like, has any of your email, I mean, your brands are super well known and you still probably don't get 100% all of the time. Never. So nobody gets 100%. So really, if it's established, you know, people that you had a communication with and you want to aim closer to 40, if it's cold emails, you know, anywhere between 2 and 5, 15 being kind of a decent.
Omi, so is the 40 a raving fan in your opinion?
They could be. That means that the bulk of your email lists are likely to be raving fans, or at least very interested in what you have to say. You're giving such useful content that they are opening them.
I have a question between services and products in terms of the 4-to-1 ratio that you meant before, 4 informational emails versus 1 salesy email. If it's a service, I'm feeling like, for me personally, if I'm getting information from that person or organization, I like that. For a product, it's a little different because what I really want to know is, okay, I'm interested in buying that product. Is it on sale? Do you have new colors?
Right, that's why I asked how many people were in e-commerce, because all the rules are a little bit different in e-commerce, and you're absolutely right. In e-commerce, we do tend to email out a lot more. We do a lot more sales and offers and discounts and things like that, because everybody wants their shopping carts to always be humming and humming and humming. So there's more of a business consideration of how much you can discount before you cheapen your brand and things like that.
However, because I know a little bit about your product, if you have a lot of golfers, for example, that buy, you could do informational products and tips or informational content that would have them click a little bit more.
Yeah, so let's say, and I'm just making this up because I don't know diddly about golf, but let's say that you sell a specific driver that improves your accuracy, right? You could put out an email about the 3 top tips to include your accuracy, and by the way, a better driver could be your answer. Here's a special on our brand new blah-blah-blah Techno Driver 2000, right?
I would say the way that we send out our emails, and it's somewhat sporadic, we're trying to get a little better about it, but basically we have a great blog, and so we'll usually do like kind of a teaser for the blog, and then we track and see like which blog posts are the most read. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, the humorous blogs get the most, and it's like,
Oh,
oh my
sure.
god, but like that's not even, really so informational. People will read
People
humor.
love humor. Yeah,
Yeah.
people want to be entertained, number one, hence the virality of all the cat videos.
So true.
So they want to be entertained first, right? I don't know how many of you are history buffs. Come on, there's got to be at least one in the room. Okay, awesome. Okay, the Roman bread and circus. Okay, the Romans were brilliant at entertaining the masses and giving them the shows with the animals and the gladiators to keep them to not think about all the stuff and the laws that they were passing, right? Sometimes politicians do that. They'll start something over here. So no, I'm not.
Shocking.
I'm not. On either side, they might engage in that, and magicians are brilliant at it. Like, right, look what I'm doing over here, so you don't see that this hand's pulling out the rabbit out of my. You're right. So it's a diversionary tactic. It's very good. So the second thing that they want is information. So if they're not looking to be entertained, then they're looking to be informed about the problem that they're trying to solve. They are never looking to be sold to. Nobody ever says, yes, I'd love to be sold to, right? Unless they really want that thing and it's on sale, right? All right, so, but before we can send them any emails, Nick, asshole. Before we can send them any, I don't need no stinking slides, that's why I stand in front of them. Before we send them any emails, we have to get them to subscribe to your list, okay? How many of you have gone to those nice little websites where it's all about the company and how great the company is, and at the very bottom of the homepage, there's a little, it's called the footer, right? There's a little subscribe to our list box. How many of you just are dying to put your email in? Okay, to get them to subscribe to you, you have to give them something of value. We call that a lead magnet. A lead magnet it could be a tip sheet, a checklist, it could even just be a reason. Give them a reason of why they should give you their email. Subscribe to our email list to be the first to hear about our deals and specials if you're selling products that you have deals and specials. Subscribe to our list to learn more about how to reinvent yourself after 50. Whatever the case may be, whatever you offer, give them a reason. I'm going to give you an example of a great lead magnet that's very classy and brand, because a lot of people think, oh my God, some of those, there's a lot of crappy lead magnets out there, and then you download it and you're like, oh, I give them my email for this. So you want to make sure it's valuable, relevant to you, relevant, most importantly, to your persona, ideal buyer, exactly. So for example, one of my clients is a boutique hotel in the Keys, and they specialize in hosting weddings. So our lead magnet for them is the 15 things you need to consider if you want to host a destination wedding.
Nice.
So, right? So it's a beautiful landing page with a beautiful bride getting married on the beach, and it's and then there's 3 or 4 bullet points, very succinct. The things to consider, the most important things you should ask the venue, whatever the case might be, and boom, and guess what? Every single one of them is the marrying kind, right? Literally and figuratively. Everyone that fills out that sheet is because it's a prospective bride, or the mother of a prospective bride, or a wedding planner, right? All great leads for my company. So quickly, just 2 or 3 of you, can you think of something you could do for yourselves that you could offer or that you could say to get people to sign up to your email list? Come on now.
I have a lead magnet for, I'm known as the SOB, the spunky old broad. So I have the SOB mindset. It's all about positive mindset.
Great.
And it's a 10-minute video, and it's very good. So
great. So you could use that.
Right.
Watch my 10-minute tip video on how to be an SOB. Yeah, that could be a good one. Anybody else? Checklists are really good. Oh, great.
The complimentary consultation.
That's another good one. Free consultation is a good one. You're gonna see my lead magnet in a little bit. So free consultation is a good one. Free consultation with a caveat. Let them know why it's important. Make sure that they know that it's not just some sales pitch, right? Because too many of us have fallen for that the $199 vacation where you then have to sit through a 1 hour while you should buy the timeshare. So make sure that in their minds they don't think it's gonna be the timeshare pitch, okay? All right, so that's the subscribe stage. Let's move on to convert. So convert is several things. At the most basic, it's having them buy something, okay? Now, many of us don't have the type of business where you can have them make a very small purchase to try you out. So we have to get creative, all right? It's having them make a commitment in their brain that's a micro commitment that's easy for them to commit to, but that will then flip you in their minds from a maybe I'll do business with them to I've already done business with them. Now that could be a small purchase. So in the case of my hotel client, splintered off an offer where we give them an extremely discounted rate for 2 people for 1 night for a site visit. So that's a great way to get them to come to the property. We can then give them the why you should buy this timeshare spiel, right? But in the context of this is what we offer. You can get married in the gazebo by the water. You can, whatever the case might be. So think about it. The free consultation could be a good commitment because that's a time commitment, right? Sometimes it's a webinar.
But you
Webinars are
have to bond the
fantastic.
terms pretty well, right, for the free consultation. Is this what you're going?
Yes, you have to kind of let them know this is what you're going to
Exactly,
receive.
yeah,
Because it's not I'm going to solve all your problems for free in a 2-hour, So you have to, when you go to your page, you say during a lively 30-minute session, we will review your blah 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 and show you the opportunities that you might have, right? This, what I'm doing right now, is my tripwire. This is a workshop I run. Every single client that is, obviously I run it a little different because it's not going to be a big group, but every single client that comes in has to go through the customer value journey process. And we sell it for a pretty low cost on our website because it helps us date them, right? It not only shows them the value of how we think and the approach that we take, but it also lets us know, is this a right fit or not? If they're going to sit there the whole time like this, just tell me what I need to do, they're probably not a right fit. We're a very collaborative agency. We want to work with you. We want to get to know you. We want to build a relationship. We want you to learn from us, but we want to learn from you as well. So, sometimes a smaller service, right? So maybe let's say wellness, because I just thought of this, and you can use this too, and you can use this too, right? And I know you already do this. So sometimes it's a smaller, maybe your big core offer is an annual retainer for a wellness package, right? And maybe you can give them a one-off session, a sample session for a discounted price. Maybe it's a piece of what you do, right? Maybe if you're like in accounting, right? There's a lot of setup when you get a new client, right? You got to review their this and that and the third. Maybe you could do a quick, just 5-point tax check for a low price, where you look at their latest return, for a very low price, and give them value and tips, and that helps you get in. So everyone kind of gets the conversion part. Okay, so that's called your tripwire. My favorite tripwire was Columbia Records. How many of you are old enough to remember?
Oh yes, oh my God.
You would get like 13 cassettes. It was like the cassettes. You would get like 13 of them for $1, but then that signed you up for their recurring. For the recurring.
It's like the wine thing.
Yes, exactly.
I signed everybody up.
I have a question about nonprofits, like conversion, because it's like the audience is split between children in underserved communities get free orchestra classes, and then also donors. So I guess the list would have to be split for the entry point.
Yes, if you have split audiences, right? If you're serving 2 distinct audiences under the same kind of umbrella, you want to have different messages and different offerings for each.
How do you describe different audience?
If they have different, so for example, let's go back to our bookkeeper or accounting, right? If you specialize in lawyers and doctors, the doctor guy's not going to care what you do for the lawyers. They have different needs, right? They have like 5 verticals, so they're not talking to the small business owner the same way that they're talking to the corporate head of a law firm or whatever.
But one of the things that's interesting about that, and it may apply to other people, is sometimes we are selling the same service across those different niches. And just because the doctors don't think they need the same thing as the lawyer needs, doesn't make it true.
Right.
So if you craft your content and your conversion magnet in a way that makes them think this is only for me, my profession,
Right.
it could be the same thing with a
Yes.
different headline or a different
Because You have a car. A car's a perfect example. A car takes a mom to the soccer field to drop her kids off the same way that that car takes the lawyer that has to get to his meeting, right? But you want to talk to the mom about the spaciousness and the, you know, how many kids can fit into the back seat, right? Whereas you want to talk to the lawyer about how luxurious it is and how, you know, whatever. So it's the same car, right? So just think about it. Just because it's the same service doesn't mean that you can't talk differently about it to different parts of your audience.
How would you address, for me, it's like a business to business site, right? I'm trying to get investors to buy buildings that I will manage. And then there are buildings that have sites that are talking to a different audience.
Yeah, I would have completely
different.
different in your case, because first you're talking B2B,
Right.
right? And then the second one, you're talking directly to the consumers. So for the consumers, like we used to work with Catholic Hospice, it's all about you're taking care of their loved ones,
Right.
you're doing the best for them, you know, it's about to, but the business guy doesn't give a crap about that. They want to know how efficient you are, how many services you can give in a cost-effective manner, et cetera, et cetera. So I would have completely different entities for, it's almost like you have two businesses. You really do, really. All right, so so did everybody write down at least one thing under convert? Okay, I want you to take away some valuable ideas from this. All right, and then excite. So let's say now you've gotten them to go to your webinar or buy your free consult, buy your splinter offer, right? Now you got to get them excited about the value that they received, right? You got to get them excited about, hey, if you got this much information out of this session, imagine if we were taking over your, you know, your accounting or whatever. So what are some of the things that you could do during this stage to get them to go to the next step and buy your core offer, right? So a lot of people have welcome or onboarding emails, right? Like they're welcoming you to the brand and telling you like how to engage with your brand more. Maybe it's we also offer, you know, services list, things like that. Any of you have any ideas of how you would do this or how you could do this?
If you got them in with a little piece of a service, you might have then a testimonial of someone who got the whole thing.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a very good one. Awards. If you've won an award for that, they don't necessarily want to hear about your award, but they want to hear about the service that you provide that garnered you that award. Okay, so it's not like, hey, look at me, I won an award. It's more like, because we've been so effective. So our agency has won many awards for creative excellence and whatever, and a lot of them are really for our team, like, yay, we got an Addy, right? An Addy is like a creative excellence award. But the one that I talk about is our Marketing Effectiveness International Awards. I've gotten 2 of those and one was a platinum. I care about that because I had to write a whole freaking case study, have the client sign off on it, and send it in order to even qualify for it. So that means that our marketing is so effective that we got this. In that case, then it is more meaningful than just, yay, look at me, look at the pretty award I got. Renee, you have?
Yeah, just on the effective point, like if you have other clients in that same industry that you've done well with, that or similar industry, that they say, wow, they did it and it worked for them.
Exactly. So this is really where you want to think about emailing. It's also continuing with your content campaigns because people can get excited. So often if somebody signs on to have us build a website, we'll send them to several blogs that talk about ADA compliance or the website process and why we do it the way we do it, why it's important for you. The other day was awesome, I loved it. On the news, there was an article about Hertz suing some Accenture or somebody for $32 million website. They paid $32 million for the website and it wasn't responsive, it wasn't what they expected, it had all these things, and now they're in a lawsuit with each other. And so guess what? I wrote a blog post, how not to lose $32 million on your website.
It's a government entity.
Right?
Smart.
Yeah.
So this is the old-fashioned way, you know, we send out with a new member, we send out, you know, the introduction email. And then I call, I pick up the phone and just
calling is a very valid excite.
The really old-fashioned way.
Yes, it's not old-fashioned at all.
No, and I always get, even if they don't have any questions, you know, it's thank you for calling me. You know, it's just a welcome. I'm not asking for anything, it's just a welcome.
Calling, some of us, it might be appropriate to take your clients to lunch. Or to, you know, have a personal meeting with them at their office. It, you know, depends on your business, but that's another way to get them excited about working with you.
I think it's really important to remember what stage of the process you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I download a white paper from you, or from lots of people that I do, and I immediately get a call,
Yeah, that's
that
a little,
pisses me off.
that's asking them to marry you a little too fast.
Even if I get an email, it annoys me a little. But if I've gone far enough to buy the first little piece of
Right.
something, then it's really good.
Right, if you've seen the webinar, if you've taken the time, so remember, that's why the micro commitment is so important.
Oh, no, they've
Because
joined
they've already,
when I.
Right,
Yeah,
you're
so-
right, you're doing it right.
right, you're doing it right, so they've already made a small commitment to you, whether they've purchased a small amount from you, or whether they've sat through a half-hour webinar, they've made a commitment of either their time or money to you. Alright, so,
So why do you still see so much of these tactics that are so annoying and it's so pervasive?
because not everybody does this.
No, but these are huge companies.
I know that.
And
I know
it's
that.
obnoxious.
How many TV spots have you seen that you go, blah, somebody paid money for that?
How much do you have?
Okay, but I mean, it happens. How many billboards have you seen where you're like, I don't even know what to do with that? Yeah, there's a lot of ad marketing out there.
I think one of the reasons, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I've been getting on LinkedIn a tremendous amount of solicitation as soon as I.
Oh, for God's sakes, please.
And it never used to be
Yeah,
that
I know.
It's like
It's within the last 3 months. Yeah, it's within the last 3 months, there's been a whole rash of people just asking, please don't do that to people. You know, make sure you've met them somewhere or
Is there
they've
something
referred
that
you.
happened in the last 3 months?
Yeah, people,
Something changed, I don't know.
some,
exactly
I don't know if it's an algorithm change or what, but I'm also getting a lot of, how many of you have gotten spam emails about how terrible your website SEO is, and if you
All the time.
For years.
It's like
If-
Chinese.
right. If it comes from a Gmail, like run. There's been a rash of that. There's been a rash of the ADA compliance scare emails. I don't know if some of you, that might happen to a bigger company like you. And the lead generation ones too.
Yeah.
I can generate leads for you in the blah 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 industry, and 90% of the time the blah 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 industry doesn't even apply to me. So if you can't even lead generate to me the right way, how am I gonna trust you to, right? All right, so we talked about the bottom of the funnel. We talked about why I don't like the traditional way of thinking, which is to stop marketing to them at the bottom of the funnel. And this is why. This isn't me saying it, this is Harvard Business saying it, okay? You can improve the profitability of your company anywhere from 25 to up to 95% by retaining and optimizing the customers you already have. How many of you think it's easier to get a new customer than to get an existing customer to either refer you or buy again? Nobody in their right mind. Once they've already worked with you and you've hopefully delighted them, it's so much easier to get them to either refer you or buy from you again, right? So let's look at some of the things we can do to make that happen. So first is getting them to buy your core offer, right? So once they've bought your one-off or your tripwire, you want them to buy your core offer. So maybe that's your annual retainer, or maybe that's your mastermind or your conference. You know, maybe that's a package of X amount of consultations, whatever the case might be, you want them to buy your core offer. Then think about how you can upsell or cross-sell them. Not everybody has the opportunity to upsell and cross-sell, but even in the donation and nonprofit industry, this is relevant because sometimes they'll test you out by giving you $10, but then the next time you might invite them to your gala fundraising, that's your core offer, and maybe then by then they'll loosen up with, you know, $200, $300, $500 or more, right? That's the way it works. So you wanna figure out opportunities where you can either sell them a bigger thing, or you can sell them something that is like an addition that will help them out, that will also make you some revenue. Any of you have any kind of cross sells or upsells?
Yeah, an owner buys one building, we do a good job, we buy another one.
Another one. Perfect. For bookkeeping, right? Sometimes you're doing just their taxes and that's it.
Or I'm just doing their bookkeeping.
Or
and
just their
They
bookkeeping.
need controller services because they're trying to grow more.
Right, or they might need tax advisory service. You may or may not offer that. I'm just making stuff up, but you get the point, right? For you, it might be, you know, maybe you do a color consultation.
I was just gonna say that. That's so funny.
I love it. You know, but then the next one might be like their whole wardrobe or
Exactly.
whatever the case might be, right? So, so we have to, you know, we want to think in ways that even if you don't think that your service is a product, it actually is, and you need to think in ways to productize it. Everything's a product, exactly. Any questions on this one? Write down any ideas for upsells or cross sells, and let's move on to the last one. Advocate. All right. So this is where now we're creating fans, right? This is where we're, assuming we've delighted them, right? Because marketing can't help you with operations. You're on your own on that one, right? Y'all have to deliver, right? So the big thing is in your messages, don't overpromise. Never overpromise. If you can't solve their every problem, please don't. We use a lot of language like, digital marketing works, but it isn't a magic button. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to make sure that during the process you've set expectations. That's a great nurture series as well. Expectations. One of our series is how long will it take? Everybody always asks, I'm paying you money. How long is it going to take for me to see a result? Well, it depends, right? Google AdWords can be as quick as a couple weeks. You can start seeing traffic building and, content a lot longer. SEO is a long game. SEO is a marathon. Okay, Google takes their sweet time because they're the only game in town pretty much. So, you have to set those expectations of, because sometimes people for you, you can't walk in with somebody that's very, let's say, very reserved and shy and very plain, and them expecting that they're going to walk out Farrah Fawcett in 1 hour. You know what I mean? Like,
one of the things, if I can say, like in one of mine, in my industry, people talk a lot about, I want a makeover, and I always say I do make betters.
Right.
Who wants to be made over? That's an insult.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So make better is a lot different.
Exactly. So what are we doing to get people to give us a good review? Are we sending out customer surveys? Net promoter surveys are gold. Okay, that's how.
What does that mean?
It's a very short survey, usually 3 to 5 questions. That's it. I like 3. And the last question is always, would you recommend us to a friend or colleague? And you want to make sure that at least 7 or 8 out of 10 people are saying yes or giving you a high score. The way Net Promoter Scores are calculated is really wonky. That's the science of it doesn't matter.
It's a website, Net Promoter?
Net Promoter Score. No, it's a survey. It's literally, you can do it on SurveyMonkey on your own. You can ask 3 or 4 short questions. Just make sure that one of the questions is always, would you recommend us to a friend or colleague or whatever the case might be, right? And you want them to, say yes or highly agree or whatever the case might be.
And is it really anonymous? Because some people may not give you a candid feedback if they don't feel it's anonymous.
You can make it anonymous. If you have like the paid version of SurveyMonkey, you can make it anonymous. Yeah. So, but again, you want them to be candid. I've had to go on the phone with clients. I've had bad scores in a certain area where we're doing great in this but not so good in that, and I get on the phone. That's when I pick up the phone and I say, hey, my project manager said that we didn't meet expectation in this. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Let them talk. Don't solve right away. Let them talk. Tell me a little bit more about that. Oh yeah, you know what? We should have sent you that report. I'll make sure that gets to you right away. I actually had a customer who didn't comprehend a certain part. They're in another country and they didn't comprehend a certain very technical part of SEO that we had to fix before we could do the actual work they hired us for, and that wasn't clearly communicated enough, and he thought we were not doing anything and he was wasting his money, and I had to get on the phone and explain that. It also helped us improve our process. That's another great benefit of these surveys. And at the end of the day, it took 2 calls, because first I had to hear him out, then I had to make sure it got done, then I called back to make sure he thought it got done, right? And at that call, he said, you know what, you guys are actually great. Not only am I gonna keep going with your contract, but I'm gonna sell coffee now, and I want you guys to do the work on that website as well.
That's really how you create a fan.
That's exactly how you create a fan. Do not be afraid of the negative feedback, people. The negative feedback is telling you how you need to improve, either your process or your communication or whatever the case might be. Don't be afraid. It's like people used to be afraid of social media because, oh my God, they might say something bad about my brand. Well, okay. Show people how you respond to that. Show people that you're actually there caring. Don't just ignore it, and for God's sakes, don't delete it, because you'll start a flame war. Okay, yeah. Gone are the days where before years ago you could turn off the commenting feature in social media, which is kind of like stupid. Why do you want to just talk at people? If you're not going to engage with people and you're going to be afraid to talk to them on social media, don't do social media. Just do paid ads. Because you don't want to do something half-butt, right? You want to commit to what you can do, and then do it consistently. Consistency is the most important thing.
Well, sometimes they can give you such valuable information.
Yes.
Sometimes we think we know what they want, but when you talk to them, they tell you what you want, and you got the answer right there.
Exactly.
So why not talk to them about it?
Exactly. All right, do you guys wanna take a quick break? All right. So let's get restarted again. So when we last left our heroes, we had gotten some reviews, right? And we had gotten some positive comments on our surveys. And so that we know we're serving our clients well, we know we're delighting our clients. And now we wanna make sure that they are promoting us, that they are telling others about that great experience that they had with working with us, with working with our business, with donating to our charity was a wonderful feeling. They do such great work, whatever the case might be, right? So what are we doing to ensure that they are promoting us? Marketing still has a role to play here. And this can be put out through social media, can be put out through emails. Emails are especially powerful because you've already done business with them. They're not likely to just not open your email, right? So do you have an easy way for people to give you referrals? Like, is there some sort of a refer a friend program that you could do? Is there some sort of a special perk you can give someone if their referral becomes a customer? Is there a page on your website that tells people exactly who you serve best, and you can send your trusted customers there to give you a referral right on your website? That's another thing that you could do. Obviously, this is not going to be a page that you're going to have open to the public necessarily, but it's a powerful thing. Is there a loyalty program? If you've been with us for a year, or if you've bought this thing, or if you're one of our highest givers, or whatever the case might be, is there some perk? And it doesn't always have to be a discount. It doesn't, it could be a value add. It could be a free lipstick. It could be, a free audit of their friends, accounting. Not an audit, I'm sorry, a review. A quick review. Like I talked before about like reviewing the tax thing or whatever. So think about ways that you can offer something for people to either refer you or buy from you again. So loyalty and refer programs are really big. If you have software, if you're a software seller or you're in e-commerce, you can also do what's called affiliate links, where they get a little something if people use that link to sign on to your software. And there's like online programs that do that, that can help you do that. Does anybody currently have a loyalty program?
We provide a discount for the actual resident when they refer somebody, friend or family.
So that's like a refer a friend program.
Yes.
We'll extend it with staff, so staff recommend someone else.
That's a good one.
We'll
And an employee incentive for your employees to refer you to the right, because who knows your business better than your employees, hopefully, right?
I have an affiliate thing.
You have affiliate
for
links.
my online programs.
Yeah, perfect. So, if you sell educational programs online, you can have people refer you. I have friends that I refer, and I'm not getting anything out of it, but sometimes I might wish I did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. Think about what you can do to have people refer you.
So we had tried a referral for new members where Lindy Smiley, who's our co-chair, gave an hour of free executive coaching, but this is just making me think that we know 90% or more of our members come from referrals, but would that increase, would it change, would they feel recognized if we were to offer someone who refers someone, an hour of executive coaching?
Exactly.
So to the
Offer the
existing
perk to
member,
the
not the new
existing
one.
member,
To
not
the
new
referred,
one.
the person
Right.
referring, not the new member.
Yes, you will see that most savvy referral programs nowadays, if they're for software, GoDaddy, whatever the case might be, they offer something to the new person and to the person referring, because it's a thank you. You don't want to make them feel like you're buying their referral, like it doesn't, but you do want to make them feel appreciated and thanked, and that's a perk of being, your customer.
But I was thinking about it just from the refer side.
Right. Right, but you're thanking the referrer.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to just give it away to the new person.
Right.
and, and diss the person that's actually going out of their way to
Yeah,
give
because
you
for
the
some
referral.
reason it didn't really catch on with the new person. Maybe it's because they were too new to.
Maybe they didn't even appreciate what that was.
Right.
Maybe those weren't the right persona for that product,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of
No, I agree.
a lot of maybes.
Only
Right.
I think
Anybody else?
Yeah,
You have such a
we
broad
don't have a
audience.
formal program, but whenever a client refers a new client, I always call that client and I'm like, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. And actually, even though they're not getting anything of value,
Right.
they really do appreciate me just reaching out and thanking them for the introduction.
Again, you're reinforcing the relationship. You're having human contact with them. That's a really great way to do it. Some of us are in industries where it's inappropriate to give them monetary compensation. And so maybe then that's the only thing that you can do is call them, or maybe, take them out to lunch. If it's government, you can't even take them out to lunch. If it's a government client, because they're not allowed. So calling them, sending them a card, that's, people don't handwrite anymore. If they get a handwritten thank you card, they're gonna fall out of their chair. And you're gonna look very different to them. You always wanna follow through on your promises. Remember when I said don't overpromise? Yeah, also follow through on, that's very important, especially when people are first signing up to your brand. Remember I said give them a reason why. Are you gonna give them valuable tips? You're gonna give them deals, whatever the case may be. Also let them know what to expect. That's one of the first things we do when people do welcome series emails, right? The first one is kind of like thanks for subscribing and here's what you can expect. Tips every month, or a newsletter every quarter, whatever the case may be. Whatever you promise them in that email, you better do it. So make sure that you plan ahead to what you can handle. Look, we're all busy people. Not every one of us has a dedicated marketing department, right? And even when you do, sometimes writing that much content is a challenge. It's a challenge for even big companies, right? So make sure that you can do whatever you can do, right? Even if it's just once a quarter, whatever it is, whatever you tell them, follow through. Because the worst thing, your word is your bond. Your word is part of who you are. It's, you can put the word integrity on your website all you want, but if you don't act with integrity, it's just a word, right? So, Renee.
Hey, Omi, obviously your firm are so good at reading into the customer and the content. How do you work with a client when they have a very specific product and you're trying to write copy for them? How does that process?
So that's a great question, and that is one of the number one reasons for niching. Because if you completely do not know their industry, then there's a big learning curve. And so then you have to sit with them and do workshops like this to understand the journey that their customers go through. You also have to sit with them to understand their industry, the benefits. It's very important to understand the pain points of their customers. So what we're doing here, we have to do for our clients, because even if we're familiar with the industry, each client has a specific, some hotels are more family friendly, some cruise lines are more geared towards upscale, whatever the case might be. Even though you're familiar with the industry, you have to get to know them. So it's definitely having a brainstorm session with them, and you should probably do that on a quarterly basis. And then there's also a lot of good things online. Feedly. Feedly.com, people. Feedly.com is a great resource to research content and topics, as is Quora, Quora. You can ask questions and you can see how many people are asking that question and what kind of answers people are getting, and that starts to give you content ideas. And then BuzzFeed as well. BuzzFeed is very good as well for. It's not great for everybody.
Questions are bizarre.
Quora questions are
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of weirdos online. Who thinks there's no weirdos online? So obviously, being confident in your ability to discern the crap from the actual advice is important, because you don't want to be one of those hawking bad advice, right? So that's why you have to stick to what your core, what you know, what you're good at. Make sense? All right.
But if you're, I think, our challenge is, we have very specific technical content, right? This is for people that do what we do,
Right.
For thought leadership, right? I
Right.
want to provide not the generic for everybody else.
Correct.
And we can, but the time to produce that, when we're all so busy, the practitioner, so it's sitting down.
It is a challenge.
So then you wanna hire these people to help you and it's
And they don't
just-
know
I
that.
don't,
They
I
don't
don't know
know
how to,
what
I
it
don't know how to overcome that.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of good in researching what so let's say you're a cybersecurity firm. Okay, so there are very large firms that you're not directly competing with because they're so much bigger than you and they go after a different market. You kind of want to see what they're putting out, and it is okay.
Like an opinion.
It's even okay to do what we call a review article. You don't have time to write your own content. Review somebody else's, right? Review somebody else's that's
That's what
either
we
in
do
your
now,
industry
sometimes.
or someone that's not a direct competitor because they're so much bigger, or maybe you go after lawyers and they go after doctors only, so it's not a direct competitor. Review them,
As long as you quote them and say, hey, this comes from this.
that's what I did with the How Not to Lose 32 Million. I literally quoted the article, and I literally named Hertz, and I literally named Accenture. There's no way I'm a competitor to Accenture. I mean, I don't have clients paying me $32 million for a website, right?
You can dream.
But yeah, but I can piggyback off of that. Newsjacking is also a really good
What does
thing.
that mean?
So that means, for example, cybersecurity was very hot in the news about a year ago. There had been some major security. Every time there's a security breach, and now they happen all the time. Every time there's a security breach, that's your opportunity to tell people how not to be like Wells Fargo, or how not to be like whoever, right? And you can just write a quick opinion piece and link to to somebody else's article, as long as you're linking to like a publication and not a competitor's website. Never link to a competitor's website.
Yeah. And if you link to a publication, make it pop up in a different window so people get back to your
Yes,
site.
thank you for that.
Link in
Jen.
a publication and what?
Make it pop up in a new window so that they don't lose.
So
coming
what's
back
a
to your
publication,
site.
sorry, publication?
Like
The Wall
like
Street Journal wrote about a cybersecurity attack.
Right,
You
or
could-
US News and whatever. Whatever,
write about what
whatever's
the product got
whatever's
like
a
the
trusted
article.
industry resource. It doesn't necessarily have to be a public, it could be like, I don't know if this exists, but the National Association of Cybersecurity Companies. That would be a non-competitive source of authority.
Or McKinsey.
Yeah, just please guys make sure that you're using reliable sources, major name, Forbes, Fortune, Inc., things we've all heard of and we trust, and not, Pepito's. Pepito might be great, but you don't know, right? And Pepito may have written something, right? Pepito may have written something a year ago that's really controversial and that you don't want to be associated with. So, if Forbes writes something controversial, no one's going to blame you. But if you quote a smaller known source, they might think that you are aligned with those values. So be careful what you retweet. Be careful what you quote and what you cite. All right, so back to our relationships. Everybody remember Whitney Houston? How will I know?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a big question. How will I know if he loves me? How will I know if what I'm doing is working? How will I know what to spend my money on? Because not every one of us has unlimited marketing resources, and we want to make sure that we know what we should be spending our money on. So this is how we measure the journey. All right. I'm going to start off the bat before you even start looking. I'm going to start off the bat by saying a lot of us have to use smaller providers, one-off, designers or one-off SEO guys or one-off developers or whatever. And some of them may provide metrics to you, which is great, right? Some of them might not, which is not so good. So what I want all of you to commit to doing is to understanding what part of the journey they're working on and how you should be measuring what they're working on. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, if they're not providing metrics, how will you know? How do you know if you're spending money in the right place? I mean, if it's something subjective like a logo design, obviously that's not really something you can measure that well unless you have a lot of money to do focus groups and whatnot. But if it's anything digital, if it's social media engagement, if it's SEO, if it's building your website, whatever the case might be, this is how we should be looking at it. Top of the funnel, the most important way to measure that, besides the phone ringing, which obviously, unless you have tracking software, you're not tracking that, it's really gonna be about new visitors to your site. Not just general web traffic, new visitors to your site. That means people that haven't been on your site before, that means whatever awareness thing they're doing is actually working. And by the way, I'm happy to share this with all of you afterwards. I'll send it to Monique and she can, so feel free to take pictures and I can be in it or not. But I'll share. Okay, so this is baseline. If you're paying someone for SEO, generating traffic is duh. That's the one thing that they need to be doing. If you're paying for Google AdWords, generating traffic is a baseline. It's an important baseline, but just keep in mind that it's at that top of the funnel. It's where you're just driving traffic to your website. And what you need to look at is deeper down the funnel to see if that traffic is actually converting. I've had so many people come to me and say, Omi, I'm paying $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month in Google AdWords and I'm not getting anything out of it. And I'm like, great, where's the traffic being sent to? My homepage. Okay, is there anything on the homepage that's meaningful to you? Is there a sign up? Is there an offer? No, I just, think people should just call me when they get to my homepage. It doesn't work that way, folks. They might have come to your homepage at midnight. They might have come to your homepage when they were on vacation and are not ready to talk to you yet. So you need to make sure that you have the rest of the funnel in place, the rest of the steps in place, so that people can take the action you want them to take, right? So web visits, again, very basic. This goes for new website builds. It goes for SEO. It goes for Google AdWords. It's your first measurement. The next one is engage. How are people engaging with my content? Are people reading the blogs that I'm putting out there? Again, unless you have a fancy platform that captures web visits on specific pages, and that fancy platform, by the way, is Google Analytics. Google Analytics is free. If any of you have paid money for a website and the developer has not installed Google Analytics and shown you how to get into your Google Analytics account, they suck. Then Excite. This is where the returning visits comes in. Are they coming back again and again to your blog to read the new things that you're putting out? Are they looking at your new videos or whatever the case may be? And also conversion rate. Are you converting them off of that? Many people use the blogs as an opportunity to have the blog be informational but have a sidebar with an offer. You can have your lead magnet as a sidebar on every one of your blog pages. Okay? And then ascend, of course, the number of customers and your revenue growth, right? Is your revenue growing from having bigger sales or having customers return or having customers refer you to somebody else? And then advocate, of course, your NPS score, which we talked about before.
What does it mean, net promoter score?
How would you recommend us to a friend or colleague? It's a simple question, but it's a loaded question, right? And make sure you say friend or colleague, or family or friend, depending on what your business is.
B2B versus
Yeah, because, then they think, would I recommend them to my brother or whatever, and that's the level of comfort that you want to get to with your customers. And then last but not least, promote, again, the number of referrals you're getting, how many referrals are you getting from, some people's businesses exist only on customer referrals. Is that the case for anybody? Mm-hmm. You're nodding your head a little bit. A lot of people's business rely on that word of mouth, and that's great that you have that. So where can you grow elsewhere? So if you already have a great word of mouth, then maybe you don't need to spend money on that, right? That's what's so powerful about this. That's what's so powerful about knowing what each stage of the journey is and how you should measure each stage of the journey. Because if you don't have a traffic problem, if in your industry 40,000 visits a month is the industry standard for your industry and your size of business, and you're already getting 40,000, then you'll know if somebody comes along and says, oh, I do Google Ads, and that's a where stage tactic, you shouldn't be wasting your money on that because you already have the right number of visitors. Maybe you should spend your money on doing better content. Maybe you should spend your money on creating a lead magnet. Maybe you should spend your money on retargeting people that don't buy, right? So that's what's powerful about understanding the system and understanding what each stage is meant to do, so that you also know where to start. If I were a startup right now and I had no marketing budget, many startups are, they can barely make it through another month, right? So if I had no marketing budget and I was a startup, do you know where I would spend my time, my efforts? In awareness, while she gets it back up, in awareness, right? In going out there and networking, and going out there and talking to people, not necessarily paid awareness yet, right? Having a minimal website that that has at least one lead magnet on it, okay, so I can start getting subscribers. And here, in Excite, in Ascend, in Advocate, taking really freaking good care of the customers I already have, because this is going to sustain my business until I can afford to get new customers in. Serving my customers right and having them be happy with my service and having them refer me to somebody else is my lowest cost way to get more customers. Any questions on that? I sometimes get questions on metrics. Anybody ever get given a bunch of metrics and you don't know what the heck any of it means?
Yeah, and you don't know what's good, or you know, like you spoke about the open rates.
Right.
If
You
you
don't know
don't know
what's
what's good, it's very hard to compare.
So that's where it's important to have your baselines.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's important to know your own numbers before you start. And most people don't know that. Most people don't know to know that, right? They're just not exposed to that. So that's one of the exercises we go through, is establishing everybody's baseline, because we have to at least beat the baseline. Otherwise, why are they wasting their money, right?
So if people aren't working with a sophisticated integrated firm like yours and they're using different tactics, I think you said something important about if you have someone build a website and they don't install Google Analytics for you, they're not very good at what they do. Is it appropriate to ask them, I never thought of this before, to do that first and give you your baseline before you change anything?
Thank you for that. That's exactly what we do. Anytime we have a web rebuild project, we make sure that we have access to their existing Google Analytics, or most people already have, that we deal with already have it, or we install it if they don't. We also install a metric that shows how people are interacting with the site, because that gives us ideas on usability, right? But that's a little bit more advanced. But yes, if you don't already have Google Analytics on your website or access to your Google Analytics, talk to your IT person, talk to your developer, talk to whoever, and say, hey, listen, I need Google Analytics on my site and I need access. You need to make sure that you are the admin owner of your Google Analytics. Do not get held hostage by an IT guy or by a development company. For God's sakes, do not buy a proprietary system. Have your site be on something that is free and is out there, like WordPress or Drupal, or if they put you up on something like HubSpot or Eloqua or whatever the case might be, make sure that you are the owner of your platform.
You have the admin process.
Even big sophisticated companies have gotten held hostage, because then all of their data, I can't tell you how many hotels fall into the trap of having a proprietary booking engine that's not like commonly used in the industry, and then when they hate the developer, the provider, then they're stuck because all their booking data, oh, you want your booking data? That'll be $10,000. Make sure you own your stuff. Make sure that you own your stuff. Make sure that you have all of your passwords for your website, that you are the owner of your hosting. Even if you've hired someone to host for you, make sure you have admin access to that, because you want to be able to, make a choice later on and say, I want to work with somebody else, and then not have them charge you for what should have been yours in the first place. Unless you've paid $50 for your website or something like that, where you're paying a service like Wix monthly, which I don't particularly love. I think it's better to go with a cheaper developer that'll put you on your own WordPress site.
Is it true that Wix does not index your site? So like
that is correct.
Yeah, that's
Wix
why bother then?
Wix is very easy for people, non-technical people. The hook is it's cheap. It's like $2 a month or something, $1.99 a month, and then you can add on things. Then you can buy their SEO services. But their structure of their websites, every time I run an audit on a Wix site, which is not often, but at the times that I've done it, their structure is terrible. And you can't do anything about it because it's their platform. You can't go to the back end and fix whatever JavaScript calls or server calls are causing issues.
What
So,
about-
I mean, it's okay if you're just bare bones starting and you have nothing. Something's better than nothing. Just be aware of the pitfalls and don't get caught in some of those traps.
I think I understand, what it is that your company provides in terms of this, but what else does your company do for marketing and things that we should be aware of or think through or consider if we want to start engaging with?
Sure. So I'll just talk about in general what you should be looking at when you're trying to work with a marketing company. So they should be asking you these questions. Nobody can properly market you if they're not asking you at bare minimum, who's your ideal customer? What's the target area? If you're a local company and you can only serve a 20-mile radius around your store, why are you gonna waste AdWords in New York? Okay, so kind of like the basics. So understanding your audience, understanding your goals, setting up SMART goals. If they're not asking you what's your goal in creating this or what's your goal in spending money on this, if they're not prompting you for that, that's usually a red flag. Content. So somebody else talked about how difficult it is to hire somebody to write content, especially if you're in a very niche or very technical industry, right? So either you want to ask them, have you written for other law firms? Have you written for other accountants? Have you written for other massage companies? Whatever you are, give me some examples of something that relates. Maybe they haven't written for 16 of them, but they need to have at least some familiarity with your industry. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of money in educating them about you and what you do, right? So they also need to kind of work within some sort of a funnel framework, even if it's the funnel that I particularly don't like. Not everybody uses this. But at least they need to say, okay, what are you doing for awareness? What are you doing to convert people? If they're just selling you, SEO services, especially if the email they sent you is full of grammatical errors and comes from a Gmail, it's probably some, overseas company that's just gonna do some hacky stuff. And, you want to make sure that they're reputable. You want to make sure that they can give you references, okay? I'm appalled at how many people don't ask for references and will plunk down a lot of money and, and then are upset that, oh, that doesn't work. But it just means they may not have hired the right team. And then as far as, again, if they're not asking you a lot of questions about what systems you currently use, how much traffic you already have, or telling you, because you may not know, right? But, then you could, give me access to your Google Analytics and I'll let you know, I'll walk you through it. If they're not able to tie their work to some part of the funnel or some part of the journey, you're likely going to be wasting your money because the metrics aren't going to be meaningful. I don't care if somebody can get you 20,000 likes on Facebook. I don't care because that could be 18,000 of the wrong people. Also, if they're promising, if they're over-promising, if they're saying, I can get you ranked #1 for that word, run. It's probably black hat. If they're saying things like, oh yes, I can get you, 10,000 more Facebook followers in a month, run. If you know that they're using words like clickbait or link farms, or if they say, I can get you to go viral. Nobody can get you to go viral. Saatchi, one of the biggest ad agencies in the US, can't get anybody to go viral. If viral just happens or it doesn't. Some people might be a little better at kind of figuring out what your persona might react to, but if they're promising you that, it's usually an overpromise. And listen to your gut. I think one of the things as women that we forget is that one of our strengths is we have a really good internal GPS, and a lot of times we don't listen to it. Oh, they must be the expert. They smell funny to me, but maybe it's just because I don't understand what they're saying. Listen to your gut. If it feels a little scammy, take your time and research them further. Talk to some of their customers. Have them show you some of their work. Make sure it's actually their work, right? So really, really just the basics.
I have a basic question, and this is not particular, so there's no one answer. How does one determine what their marketing budget should be based on the size of the company or their goals?
So first of all, to have a marketing budget, you need to be profitable. If you're running it, if you're not yet, the only one that can get away with that is Amazon. Somehow they've been running for 20 years, but supposedly net zero profit, but I'm sure that's some sort of accounting trick. So number one, you need to be profitable. Then usually a very loose guideline is anywhere between 3 to 7% of your revenue, depending on your profit levels. If your profit levels are 3 to 7%, then you can't afford that. Right? So just it's kind of a percent, or a little bit less if it's your actual profitability. So if your profit margins are 15%, then you probably should be spending between 5 and 7 on marketing. So it depends on your revenue and your profit margins. All right, with that, a couple free resources. Google this, The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing. It will give you an exhaustive, do-it-yourself
No, thank you.
page by, stage by stage of what you could and should be doing at each stage of the customer value journey. So you don't have to read the whole thing, but if you're more interested in learning more about Excite or Convert or the Tripwires or whatever, go to that. It's Digital Marketer. They're a great resource. It's totally free. If you're into social media and you're a do-it-yourselfer, Social Media Examiner, fantastic free resource. Again, good blogs, really good information, a lot of how-tos, a lot of these questions get answered, and just use their search function, and how do I get more leads on Twitter? Boom, there'll be 2 or 3 articles on that, right? And then if you would like a free website audit, you can go to our website, diazcooper.com. There's our lead magnet right there, isn't it pretty? Right?
And what does that entail?
It's an audit. It's an automated audit. And
But what is it? What
it
information
shows
does it
you.
give?
It gives you whether you have any red flags from mobile performance, desktop performance. It's like powered by Google, so it'll give you red flags if there's
Or warnings, or
yeah.
there's something else too.
Yeah, it gives you. It tells you like it's too slow, or you don't have enough headers, or it's not
So
going
if
to go
somebody
into
charges
depth.
you for that, it's a ripoff, right?
If somebody charges you for a basic web audit, it's usually a ripoff.
Yeah.
It may not be though if they're doing a really deep look into your actual each keyword. And
Would the
whatever.
website audit tell you if
This is a
your
free
metadata
thing.
works? If you have metadata tagged or not?
Yes, there's plenty of free tools that will tell you that. Like literally Google free SEO audit and run 3 or 4 of them and see. Sometimes they tell you different things, and sometimes it does take an actual developer to say, because sometimes there are false warnings, and so with this you also get a 30-minute call to go over it, right? So I can say like, well, this could be a false positive because it could be just your technical jargon, insert technical jargon here. That's another red flag, by the way, guys. If you're hiring somebody and they're talking to you about the multiplex demodulator and you don't know what the F they're saying, that's a red flag. Because a lot of people go by that whole, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bull, right? So if they're just throwing technical jargon at you and you're not comprehending what they're saying, run like the hills, because they're overcompensating. They might be good, they might be skilled, but if they can't distill it to plain English for you, then you're not going to have a good experience with that vendor, because
They can market it.
Right.
Correct.
Well,
Right.
but they'll also be using that kind of language throughout the relationship.
Exactly. You're not going to have a good experience. All right, guys. So thank you for. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you have any questions, I am very happy to answer questions. Send you a PDF version of the map. So you can follow me on Twitter. You can go to my website, or you can email me.
It's a great draft.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
It's awesome. Very good.